Now let's do the same 12-bar blues pattern, but instead of using major chords, let's use 7th chords. So instead of C, F, and G, let's use C7, F7. If you haven't done that one before, you basically make an F and then you put your other fingers on the C string and the A string on the 3rd fret. So the fret numbers are 2, 3, 1, 3. And then instead of the G, we'll use G7. So let's try that with quarter notes, just so we get the feel of those chords as well. So C7, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4, F7, 2, 3, 4, F7, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, 4, F7, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4. Great. Of course, if you're going to do a turnaround and play it through again, you can do that G7 on the end. So now we kind of get a feel of how the 7th sound. Now, let's go ahead and try switching between the major chords and the 7th chords in each measure. So the way we could do that is we'd do C major for 2, 1 and 2 and, we'll go back to 8th notes. 1 and 2 and then switch to the C7 for 3 and 4 and. C, 2 and, 3 and 4 and. When we get to the F, we'll go from the F major, 1 and 2 and we'll switch to the F7 for 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and, 3 and 4 and. When we get to the G, you can do G, 1 and 2 and, G7 for 3 and 4 and. Or, just an option, you could put your fingers in the G7 position and put your pinky down on the G note. And so you could do G, 1 and 2 and, 3 and 4 and. Your choice. It's just an option. All right, let's try this with 8th notes, continuing to use that shuffle strum, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So try it out with me. C and 2, we'll do it one time through, so we'll end back on the C and the C7. So C, 2 and C7, C, C7, C, C7, C, C7, F, F7, F, F7, C, C7, C, C7, G, G7, F, F7, C, C7, C, C7. Great. Now let's do it twice more through so that we can have some continuity. So at the end of the first pattern and on a G7 for your turnaround. So let's try it again. Same thing with the 8th note shuffle strum and back and forth between the major and the 7th chords. C, C7, C, C7, C, C7, C, C7, F, F7, F, F7, C, C7, C, C7, G, G7, F, F7, C, C7 to the G7. Start again. C, C7, C, C7, C, C7, C, C7, F, F7, F, F7, C, C7, C, C7, G, G7, F, F7, C, C7, C, C7. Great. Now let's try it one more time through, but this time let's switch the two and let's start on the 7th chords and then go to the major chords and just see how that sounds. So you can just pick your favorites. What's neat is to know that the patterns work either way and just have slight variations. And so it's fun to try each different pattern and pick your favorite. So this time we would do C7, 1 and 2 and then go to C, 3 and 4 and. When we get to the F, we'll start on the F7. So just practice getting the F7 if you're not as comfortable or familiar with that. So F7 into F, F7 to F. When we get to the G, it would be G7 to G, and then back to F7, F. So give it a try. Remember to start with the 7th, and you can always say it along with me if that helps you. All right, so we'll start on the 7th. C7, C, C7, C, C7, C, C7, C, F7, F, F7, F, C7, C, C7, C, G7, G, F7, F, C7, C, C7, C. Great, you can always play that through twice too if you want to be able to just have that turnaround in there. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll take, for our next video, I think we'll take another turn and we'll work on some soloing and see how we can fit some soloing into the key of C. Thanks for listening.